A high school game here in Cleveland has attracted a crowd of 10,000 here tonight. But it's not just any high school game. It's phenom LeBron James against the #1 ranked team in the country, Oak Hill. LeBron Mania goes national here tonight. The history of basketball is rich with legendary performers. Those who have dominated the paint, dazzled us with their passing, displayed uncanny marksmanship, and risen above the crowd. Other than talent, the common thread among all these legends is simple. They're known by a single name. And now, as we look to the future, a young man called LeBron attempts to earn that same distinction. Can LeBron James take his first step toward legendary status? Find out next. Among those who have seen him play, even among many of those who haven't, there appears to be no debate. LeBron James is the best high school player in the country, and he was even last year when he was a junior, and he likely, they say, will go #1 in the draft should he go straight to the NBA. He's got a chance to play on national television here tonight against the #1 team in the country, Oak Hill. The Warriors win or contend for national championships, it seems, year after year. Hi, everybody. I'm Dan Schulman here in Cleveland, and we've got a star-studded game out on the court among these great high school talents. We've got a lot of announcers here to give us their perspective on this game as well. As I turn first to my right, we bring in Dick Vitale, of course, synonymous with our college basketball coverage. Tell us a little bit about what you know about LeBron James.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Dan. When you talk about LeBron James, it's been a runaway freight train. The Express with hype. It has started 2 years ago. He was on the cover last year of Sports Illustrated, on the cover of ESPN magazine this week, and that has all created curiosity, curiosity, curiosity. Hey, he's one of those teenage phenoms that come along in their given sport and are so gifted, like a Venus Williams, a Serena Williams, a Tiger Woods, a Kobe Bryant, an Alex Rodriguez. And all I know is if he's half as good as all I've heard about him, he is going to be one special athlete. I can't wait to see him play in person.
Well, if we go on the assumption that he's going to the NBA, let's bring in somebody who knows a little bit about the NBA. Pleased and honored to have Bill Walton here with us tonight. And for LeBron James, as great as he is, this is the best high school team in the country, some of the best competition he's ever faced.
And Dan, that's what makes this game so very, very special, because LeBron James has proved it off the court, off the big scene here, but now he's got the high school stage here. He's playing against a powerful Oak Hill team, the acknowledged #1 program in all of college basketball, and they're all saying, hey, forget about LeBron, what about me? They are here to make a statement themselves. They are a high-powered offensive team that relies a lot on the press to get out in transition. They shoot a lot of three-point shots. This is a team that is as close as they come to being a professional team at the high school level. They will provide an incredible challenge to this promising player, LeBron James.
LeBron James and St. Vincent St. Mary have played against Oak Hill each of the last 2 years. James has scored a ton of points, 33 and 36. But Oak Hill has won both games, so we'll see if we have more of the same in store here tonight in Cleveland. LeBron James goes national for the first time. The Fighting Irish of St. Vincent St. Mary take on Oak Hill when we return.
ESPN2's presentation of the Progressive High School Classic is brought to you by Progressive Auto Insurance. Progressive, not what you'd expect from an insurance company. And the Spalding Infusion Basketball. With a built-in micro pump, you can add air anytime, anywhere.
A look above at the Convocation Center here in Cleveland, the home court of Cleveland State University. This is the Progressive High School Classic between St. Vincent St. Mary and Oak Hill. Of course, Oak Hill #1 in the country, St. Vincent St. Mary featuring LeBron James as we show you the Progressive starting lineups. The point guard, by the way, for St. V is Drew Joyce. His dad is the head coach. Oak Hill's got 3 kids heading to Division I college basketball next year. Second year as the head coach of the Fighting Irish for Drew Joyce, who has coached 4 of these players since they were in the 4th grade, among them LeBron James. So he has intimate knowledge of his son and the other 3 kids and the type of basketball and the type of kids they are. They're a good team. They've won 2 state titles in the last 3 years, and they were the runner-up the other year. They're a very good team on the state level, but they're not quite the national program that Steve Smith has put together over 18 years in tiny Mouth of Wilson, Virginia. The head coach for Oak Hill. They win or contend for a mythical national championship each and every year. Now, there's one guy among us who has seen LeBron James play on several occasions. Jay Billis is here to give us some perspective. Jay, how good is LeBron James?
Well, simply put, Dan, LeBron James is the best high school basketball player I have ever seen. And I think as a 17-year-old, he's better than Kobe Bryant was at the same age. Why? Because he is just as skilled as Kobe Bryant was, but he is more physically imposing. At 6'7", 235 pounds, he is a man right now, and he's got an extraordinary skill level. He's also a brilliant passer, a guy that can play with other people, find teammates, and create shots for others. He's got a maturity level that most kids his age just don't have, and he will be, without a doubt, the first pick in the draft. But Dan, I'll tell you, there's a little bit of a caveat. I didn't see the big redhead from Helix High School play in the late 60s, early 70s.
Oh, wait, we're stroking you already? We're 2 minutes into the show, and we're stroking Walton already. What about my game? Nobody saw me in the 6th grade when I played in the CYO?
What year was that?
Hey, Bill, I want to just say this. Danny Ainge, your buddy, said there are only 4 or 5 guys in the NBA he would not trade for the rights of this kid.
Wow.
That's how good he described him. You know we all respect Danny. I read that quote.
Well, America gets a chance to decide for itself here tonight as James wins the opening tip.
With LeBron James, the challenge for him is to be able to learn how to deliver peak performance on command. So when the whole world is watching, he walks out there, when the red light goes on, when the ball is thrown up, can he be as good as anticipated?
Oak Hill technically the home team, but they're wearing black jerseys. They left the white ones at home. So St. V's, even though this is in their own state, they're the visiting team, but they're wearing gold. James is wearing number 23, and that is not a coincidence.
You know, last year they played against them and they lost a tough game. He had 36, and Carmelo Anthony, now one of the outstanding diaper dandies, had 34 in that game.
In a 6-point loss for St. Vincent St. Mary, Isaiah Swan had the task of trying to shut down LeBron James,
who misses his first jumper. James right now, just through a couple of games, is not even his team's leading scorer, but they had 2 easy wins, and he was content to set up his teammates. There's a nice block by Romeo Travis, number 24.
He's going to Akron, Travis, very active player, and so is Joyce going to Akron as well. So they got 3 Division I players on their floor.
There's Travis, a lefty from the baseline with a miss, and the rebound is brought down by Ivan Harris, number 1. He's an Ohio kid from Springfield, Ohio, and he's going to Ohio State next year.
Yeah, and Jim O'Brien is in the house right now, Bill. He's sitting behind us evaluating Mr. Harris.
Ivan Harris, the 6'8" senior, is the most talented player for Stephen Smith. When the players for Oak Hill are penetrating, they're looking for their own shot. When you come down that lane in a game against top-level competition, you want to think about kicking it out for some 3-point shots.
Harris with the offensive rebound. I think very dangerous to try and trap this team. If you try to trap St. Vincent St. Mary's, James is such a gifted passer that he has great instincts and will find the open man.
So far, he's averaging 18 points and 15 rebounds per game through just 2 games this season. There he is in the post. Fadeaway jumper, no good.
I think shot selection sometimes can be a problem with a great young player, Bill, understanding what a good shot is.
One of the problems that LeBron has had in the first couple of possessions is that when he's gotten the ball, he's come to a dead stop. You want to keep on the move all the time. The quickness, the anticipation, the ability to see the next play before anybody else even reacts. But even here, he comes to a stop, and it's walking, it's deliberate. Explosiveness, he has the physical gifts. Get it on the run.
He's got a size advantage also.
Nice bounce pass, but it's knocked away. By the way, high school ball, 4 8-minute quarters. No shot clock in effect as the jumper's left short by Isaiah Swan. The putback, though, is good. Underneath by Dion Dakins, a 6'6" senior out of Statesville, North Carolina.
They go to a little trap right now. Dakins most likely being recruited like some outstanding academic schools as well. Davidson.
Drew Joyce. does not get the bounce on the three, and here comes Oak Hill again.
There's got to be some jitters out there, Bill. There's got to be jitters in that young guy. The scrutiny, the evaluation, the TV cameras, the NBA scouts, the big redhead Mr. Walton in the house. I mean, he's got to be nervous.
But that's what you have to learn to deal with. And that's what one of the things you talked about in our pregame meeting with all these young players, is to enjoy this moment and to learn to anticipate the stage, the spotlight being on you. Offensive foul, out of control at the hoop.
Corey Jones takes the charge. After St. Vincent's last game, when James didn't score that much, didn't shoot that well, he said, you know what, I'm going to get my teammates involved, but in the big games, when the big lights are on, he said, I'm going to turn it up a notch like Thursday night. He made that statement a few days ago, that he's going to try to look for his shot and go to the hoop a little bit more than he normally does.
But the problem right now is that with Oak Hill controlling the backboards, there's no transition opportunities, and they're packing it in on defense, sloughing on off everyone else.
There's a three for Drew Joyce III, the son of the head coach of St. Vincent St. Mary.
I met Drew Joyce IV before the game also. He's getting ready. But if you make that three like that, that'll open up the angles and give James a better chance to get to the basket.
Harris with another offensive rebound and putback for Oak Hill.
Coach Drew Joyce for St. Vincent St. Mary, he said that they have to control the boards if they're going to be able to win this game. They have not done that yet.
See, right now they're standing around. The easiest guy to guard, Bill, as you know, as a former player, are people that are stationary. And right now they're very stationary on the offensive end.
Beautiful drive.
In transition to the other end, the basket is good for J.R. Reynolds, who's headed to Virginia next year.
Yeah, the Cavs can use him out of that perimeter. They can use a scoring guard. I know they're excited about him. And Williams is going to the University of Connecticut.
Yep.
Who, by the way, the other day, 9 points at halftime?
And then 50 in the second.
Yeah, they win the game. Wow, what a comeback.
James being guarded by a much smaller man, and they're trying to get him some looks in the post, but they just can't get him good shots.
Well, they're too stationary, not getting enough motion on the offense.
For three, no good again. Travis with the offensive rebound.
In the early going, LeBron is standing there waiting for the ball to come to him.
Now run
Nice
out
pass.
for Oak Hill, and it's Harris again.
Nice pass. Harris with the score. He looks like he's going to be an active player when he wears that uniform down at Ohio State.
The defense all packed in, basically three guys forcing LeBron James into a passer.
Jones finds Travis, the miss, and no second opportunities. Now for St. Vincent St. Mary, Oak Hill is out to an early 7-point lead, and LeBron James has yet to score.
I'll tell you one thing, he's got to keep his head up. Things aren't going well for him right now, and you can't hang your head because your teammates are looking at you as our leader.
Now so far it's Oak Hill controlling the play as we head to a timeout here in Cleveland. Still waiting for LeBron James to get going. Oak Hill, no trouble getting going up and down the floor, leading by 7. A quiet start for LeBron James, and while the future is unquestionably bright, you cannot say the same for the past. Here's LeBron James on some of the things he's had to overcome.
Down in the projects, in those hard times, you see everything from crackheads, to drug dealers, to gunshots every night, to police sirens. And I think it just made me stronger, it made me stronger in a way not to do those things and to know what's right from wrong down there.
Well, you can get an in-depth look at LeBron James following our game as ESPN The Magazine's Next features a select group of young athletes who may change the nature of the sports they play. James will be included, as will junior college tailback Brandon Jacobs and Chicago Cub first base prospect Hee-Seop Choi. ESPN The Magazine's Next follows us here tonight on ESPN2. Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Bill Walton, Jay Billis, all here to look in on LeBron James against Oak Hill.
And while you're preparing for the show that's following us, the next show, there's some terrific things on ESPN.com. Some Tom Friend articles outlining the life that LeBron James has had to lead. And also Mark Stein talked about his path to greatness, and it's really interesting reading a lot of good in-depth stories.
All Oak Hill early. Although missing an outside shot there is Swan, so the lead is still 7. This is the shooter, Corey Jones. And there's James with a follow.
I'll tell you, he got up and down the court there, and he saw that great passing ability.
Goes for the block, altered the shot, and now ripping down the rebound is Travis.
You can just see in that one sequence the talent potential that he possesses.
The explosiveness, but Drew Joyce, the coach, said that they need to get into the open court. They are not going to be successful, St. Vincent St. Mary's, in a half-court game against a physically superior, bigger, older, stronger, and more mature Oak Hill team.
You know, you mentioned Tom Fran, and he did a great story about him as we're going to watch the offensive rebound here. Look at James in good position with the score, but he talks about his mom. His mom at 16 had him by 19. She had lost her mother, her grandmother, and she was on her own, and they went from one project to another. I think this could be a great American dream, man. A great story. Here's a kid who has a love for his mom, and with a stroke of a pen could take care of his family for life. I think that could be fantastic.
By the way, you see the patches on the biceps. Those are tattoos that the players have to cover up. A rule here in the high school league. So nothing wrong with anybody out there. They're just not allowed to show their tattoos.
Bad shot right there, Bill. Bad shot. He has to understand he's trying to do it by himself right now rather than waiting for the offensive flow to come to him.
The ability to play on the move. The great players, say an Oscar Robertson, a Jerry West, a Magic Johnson, a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant at this level now.
Take me back to when you were at Helix and you were a superstar, best high school player maybe in the country, versus today with the AAU competition, the evaluation, NBA scouts. What about the pressure he's under?
But the great ones, you love pressure, and you have to train yourself to want that pressure. And in the brief moments that I've had a chance to spend with LeBron, I sense that in him. This is a guy who likes the limelight. And when I played high school basketball...
You never liked the limelight, did you? You never liked the limelight.
I liked it on the court. Once I stepped off that court, I was terrified.
Yeah, you never wanted to talk to the media. You
I had a speech impediment. I couldn't say hello. I couldn't say thank you. Now they can't get me to shut up.
Hey, poor Dan Schumann. He's getting paid by the word. He's in trouble here tonight.
We've had some subs for both teams. James is still in there. 4 8-minute quarters in these high school games. Swan from the wing knocks down to 3. And these kids from Oak Hill can really shoot it. And considering there's only one player back from last year, this is a whole new bunch of kids. It speaks for their talent how well they look like they play together already.
Well, you gotta remember now, they're getting a lot of people from other high schools who played for 3 years because they may come for academic reasons or competition.
Stolen by Brandon Weems.
He's the truth. But a lot of guys can dunk. You know that. Can you do that, Bill, when you were a kid?
When I played, the dunk was illegal.
That's right. They made it illegal.
And it made me a better basketball player.
It was illegal also for Lou Alcindor, and your Wizard of Westwood doesn't believe we should use the dunk.
James now with 4, and the crowd is really into it. He brought them to their feet with this explosive dunk.
In transition, finally an opportunity to show the elevation, the windmill, the creativity, the extension, the elevation.
He's a high riser, there's no doubt about it. He's got great hops. I talked to a lot of people, including this morning, Mike Fratello called me, the former Cavs coach, and I'm telling you, everybody I spoke to, Bill, you saw that pass, the instincts.
That's what we have to talk about.
They absolutely raved about his instincts and passing ability, and we're not saying he's Magic Johnson, and we're not saying he's Michael Jordan, but that's the kind of descriptions I was receiving. Magic Johnson passing ability as a youngster.
An extremely unselfish player, again playing with 3 of his boyhood friends. They've all grown up together, went to high school together, and he likes setting them up. Here's Weems for 3 and give James the assist.
Well, he did that. He was the 3D man. He drove, he got into the lane, and he dished the rock. Drive, draw, and dish the rock, baby.
St. Vincent St. Mary's coming alive here. Did the timeout that Drew Joyce called. Very effective.
I think the dunk was very effective, too. It was really a way of lifting the spirit.
Now we've got a violation, 3-second call that goes against Oak Hill.
One of the ways that the game has changed over the years is the start of games at all levels. And one thing that great players do is they learn how to hit from the opening tap. And LeBron James, who gets so many opportunities, he needs to learn how to compact his game and just explode in the first moment he steps foot on the court.
Joyce and Weems, both point guards in there together. James still on the floor, and he's got a size advantage on Swan, and there they go.
That's a mismatch. That's an M&M. You can't handle him inside one-on-one. They'll need the redhead to go out there and guard him. Mr. Walton.
James is 6'8", 240. It's another thing he has in his favor. He's already built like a guy 5-6 years older than him.
Yeah, he's very physically developed.
Yeah.
His body is so strong. I love his instinct.
You look at him in the locker room, it's unbelievable. This guy is a man at 17 years old. LeBron James will not turn 18 until December 30th. Coming back, St. Vincent, St. Mary.
What an explosive dunk as James and the Fighting Irish are back in it. Coach, a little bit about Oak Hill Academy in Virginia and some of the great players that have gone through there. That's a young Jerry Stackhouse from a few years ago. Jeff McInnes, of course, another great player that they had at about the same time, and Ron Mercer, another Oak Hill alum. They've had 17 McDonald's All-Americans over the years and a number of first-round picks in the NBA as well. William Avery and most recently Sagana Diop, who's right here in Cleveland playing for the Cavaliers.
Sagana Diop met with the Oak Hill players on this trip. The Oak Hill team took an 8-hour bus ride.
That's right.
And arrived at midnight here last night, but we also didn't mention Steve Blake from Maryland, the champions. He played there at Oak Hill. Travis Weston from Virginia and Ron Slay from Tennessee.
Yeah, Travis Watson, Ron Slay, Blake. They've had so many great teams. That team was undefeated in 98, 99, 32-0. They were 36-0 in 92 and 93 with Stackhouse, McInnes, and company.
Well, we've got with us the head coach of Oak Hill, Steve Smith, kind enough to join us
help us out a little bit.
during action. Coach, thanks for spending some time. Tell us a little bit about the team you put together, because it's a brand new group from last year.
Yeah, we just had Dion Dacon's back, and basically had to start over. I'm one of the luckiest coaches in the country because I got a lot of guys that call and want to come play for me. So we reloaded and got a great bunch of guys and played fairly well tonight, but we had about a 2-minute break down there defensively, and they got back in the game.
Now, your kids are used to a lot of big games, but they don't play on national TV very much. How'd you sense their mood was before the game?
Good. They weren't too up, and that's one thing I worry about. I knew they wouldn't be flat, obviously, but I didn't want them too high, and I thought they came into the game with the right attitude and ready to play the game.
What is your plan, basically, Coach, to try and negate the great ability of LeBron James?
Well, he's a tough guy to guard, and I thought we guarded him pretty well early, and he got some easy baskets late. It transitioned off a turnover, but we're trying to double him in the post. He got down low on us one time in the first quarter and scored, and trying to help as much as we can, and got a quick guard on him up top and trying to pressure him as much as we can when he has the basketball.
Coach, you play against and coach all the top players in high school basketball. How do you rate LeBron James in a historical level in your 18 years as coach of Oak Hill?
Great shot, JR. He's the best I've seen. I gotta give due where it's due, and I've seen a lot of the great guys. I've coached some great players. I've seen McGrady in high school, and Brand Hill, and Kevin Garnett and all those guys. Vince Carter, had Jerry Stackhouse, myself, and Ron Mercer, and he's the best I've seen at this stage, and it's time will tell if he's as good as advertised, and if he keeps his head on straight, he probably will be.
Coach, thanks very much for the time. Good luck.
Sure, thank you.
Steve Smith, the head coach at Oak Hill.
I'll tell you one thing, what a record he's put together in his 18 years. He took over for Larry Davis, who's now coaching Furman, was originally, as you watch him on the offensive play, on the interior. There he is at the backdoor cut, starting to move a little bit more without the ball. I mean, I'll tell you what, I got one eye, Bill. I don't have two eyes like you, but I'm watching about 10 minutes here, and if that kid doesn't have stardom all over him, there's only one guy that's going to stop him from being a star, and his name is LeBron James.
Why would you let him backdoor?
Why are you going to be critical on that backdoor cut?
No. Why not just play him at the basket area and force him to receive coming out? Now, number 4, Isaiah Swan has done a good job in the early going, just loses total contact with him.
Yeah, he really did. Had no vision of ball and man. You got to watch both.
Dick, let me ask you, you brought up a point. The only guy who can stop LeBron James is LeBron James. Talk about what a 17-year-old is going through, outside influences, having his head on straight, like Steve Smith said. How do you feel about all that?
Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious? How many college guys or NBA guys can make that pass in transition? In the NBA, that's a jam for a dunk. I mean, I got goosebumps watching that. That made me think of the Magic Man. Are you kidding? Take a look at that pass, Mr. Walton.
He seems to have overcome a sluggish start.
Hey, that's a great question. I'll tell you, Bill and I'll discuss that. You know, he asked about stopping himself. I think the biggest fear is he's got to be so concerned about the leeches and all the people around him and how to separate and get those out of his life and deal with those that genuinely love and care about him. Because unfortunately, Bill, he's going to have so many around him. You know and I know we hear about exploitation, and that worries me because there is a lot of that going on here. People already now thinking of ways they can make money in an unsavory way off this teenager. Your feelings about that?
The choices he makes as to who his friends will be, who his advisors will be, and he has to go, he is at the top. He has to pick people who are already at the top and who are not looking to make it themselves on this young player's capabilities.
I'll tell you the one thing I love about him, any kid that speaks so unbelievably lovingly about his mom can't be a bad kid. And all he ever talks about is how I want to take care of my mom, reminiscent to me of a friend I have by the name of Alex Rodriguez, who took care of his mom once he got the riches and fame as a baseball player.
Here comes James leading the Irish out. They were down big early, but there's another no-look feed.
There's what we're talking about, instincts, feel for the game. I mean, that is just so special, Bill.
The sense of where you are that we learned from Bill Bradley as a St. Louis high school phenom. LeBron James is moving right now at a different speed than everyone else.
Well, he's doing what you said earlier he was not doing. He has picked up the energy level, and the energy level really has him in another gear, and it's made his other people better. You know what the bottom line is? When you're special, and there aren't many guys in the NBA who make their teammates more efficient, I think he has that potential.
And you can sense the way he has lifted them right now. They're rebounding better. They're catching the ball better. They're feeding off his energy and his enthusiasm, and it's clicking right now for St. Vincent St. Mary's, and they have the lead over the previously undefeated #1 Oak Hill Warriors.
Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Bill Walton. And let's get Jay Billis in on this as well. Jay was talking to us last night about LeBron James. And Jay, in your opinion, the gap between James and whoever might be the second best high school player in the country, is it really that big a gap?
It's pretty big, Dan. I think the second best player is probably Luol Deng, who is out of a prep school in Massachusetts. And you know, I do think that LeBron James is the real thing. He is as good as advertised. I've thought so for the last couple of years. And more to the point of his passing ability that you were talking about, I think one of the interesting things is most great players at the high school level, when they're on the break and can take it on their own, would take it on their own and dunk it or take it to the basket. James looks to get his teammates involved, and that's really unique. He sees the game at a different level and a different pace.
Jay, the only thing that I really would, right now, if you had to be a little critical in analyzing his game, is shot selection and his ability to consistently make that perimeter shot.
Well, he's still 17 years old. I mean, he does have a long way to go, but certainly, you know, I think starting out this game settling for jump shots was not in his best interest as a player nor in his team's, but he has settled down and he has really shown himself to be a team player. That's what he is.
Offensive foul by Byron Joins, all 6'9" and 300 pounds of him.
He looks to me like he can do whatever he wants out there, and it's a matter of choice. Whether he wants to float to the perimeter and jack up some shots, slash and penetrate, get out in transition, dominate the boards. When you have that kind of versatility, there is no limit to the future.
You know, people talk about hype, but the bottom line is you can't hide talent.
No.
You can't hide talent. When you're gifted, whether you're Venus Williams or Tiger Woods or a young guy like this, you cannot hide their unbelievable skills and ability.
James misses the jumper. Reynolds at the other end. And they got him clean, and St. Vincent St. Mary's got it back. Travis James.
He got away with one there. I tell you, he was ready for a windmill jam. He's so quick in transition, Bill.
The quality of the overall game has really picked up. Players were very sluggish in the opening quarter, but now everybody seems to be very warm.
Lob at the other end, and it doesn't go. St. Vincent with the lead. James now with 12.
And I'll tell you, Steve Smith's club is not your average high school team. They got 5 Division I players in their lineup. 3 have already committed to Connecticut, Virginia, and Ohio State.
Count the basket for Drew Joyce.
This game has completely turned around. It happened on that dunk.
It did. It really dunked.
It energized the crowd. It gave confidence to the St. Vincent St. Mary's squad, who seemed to be a bit intimidated.
It gave them momentum. It really did. Gave them unbelievable momentum. Then they get a little bounce there.
And one thing that James has said, yeah, he wants to put on a show, first time on national TV and all that. But remember, these two schools have met each of the last 2 years, and both times Oak Hill has won. So James doesn't want to go 0 for 3 in his career against this kind of a program.
Well, let me tell you how I knew he was a player. Last year, I'm driving in my car with my wife, and all of a sudden the phone rings. And a guy I think you know, we all know in basketball, he's like a David Runyon character, important to the game. Howard Garfinkel, five-star guard, calls up and he says, Dickie V, I just watched the best high school player I've ever seen at this stage in high school. I was in Trenton, New Jersey. I saw him against Oak Hill, against Carmelo Anthony. And he was talking naturally about Mr. James. That's when I knew the kid had to be legitimate.
How he missed Wilt. How he missed Oscar, missed Kareem.
I guess in those days they didn't have the kind of AAU tournaments.
There was nothing like that.
Today. No, nothing like that. Nothing like they have today.
You could only play for your school. Only in organized sessions.
A double on James on the perimeter. He swings it to the open man, Marcus Johnson, but Johnson, just a freshman, misses a jumper.
I'm glad that Bill just mentioned that, but that's why today, Bill, all these diaper dandies are playing right away on a collegiate level because of the fact they don't come in intimidated anymore and have so much experience.
When we come back, we'll check in on the travel schedules that both of these schools are going through this year. Back here in Cleveland, a 3-point lead for St. Vincent St. Mary over the #1 team in the country, Oak Hill Academy out of Virginia. Well, Bill Walton flew up from San Antonio today. Dick Vitale flew up from Sarasota. They've got nothing on these travel programs. This is what the Fighting Irish of St. Vincent St. Mary, some of the places they are going during this year. Of course, Cleveland here just about 45 minutes away from their hometown of Akron. And now for Oak Hill, it's really the same story. Steve Smith, their head coach, did tell us, though, that Las Vegas tournament, that Houston tournament, they're over Christmas. He says his kids are only going to miss 4 days of school all year doing all that travel because of the Christmas holidays and weekends.
You know, I've been on a lot of shows, radio shows. I mean, the last couple of days, I've been on so many, including Michael Kay with ESPN earlier this week. Mr. Golick and Mr. Greenberg do a great job. Tim Bramdo, who I respect, who really was questioning me about exploitation. I made some great points that you got to really wonder sometimes about exploitation. What are your feelings about that, Bill?
It's not LeBron James' fault that this is all happening. He's just living in the world that we've all created.
All of us, we're all part of it.
And so many things going on around him, swirling around him. One of the things we tried to impress upon these young people is that they are high school students and that they should enjoy this time. They will never get this time back in their life.
You and I had a chance to speak to the kids before the game, and I know I enjoyed that, and I know you did a great job as well in terms of speaking to them about life.
But the sense of young players needing to use basketball to better their lives rather than letting basketball use them, and that's something that the players have to take into their own hands by maximizing all their opportunities.
Well, as I told them, I don't care who you are, whether you're Bill Walton or Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan, there comes a day in your life, a press conference is called, and the party's over. And you better be able to use your basketball skills in learning about competition, blending with one another. I mean, what's so beautiful, as I said in the room, we have black here, white here, rich here, poor here. Y'all have to learn how to unite together and go on in life after basketball.
James for 3. And James still can't hit from outside, and we've got an injured player down on the floor under the basket.
The form,
Marcus Johnson.
the form that LeBron James shows on his moves, his balance, his discipline, the touch, the shoulder positioning, the footwork. This is a special player.
You know, you mentioned travel. There's been a lot of criticism about the fact that this school now, St. Vincent St. Mary's, is going to go play in Pauley Pavilion. They're going to go play in L.A. They're going to play all over in terms of Greensboro. They're going to play in Philadelphia at the Palestra.
They're going to play in Pauley Pavilion.
Yeah, Pauley Pavilion, where you did your thing. But let me say this. I did research, and I was ready to take them to task. I found out, you ready for this, guys? They're not missing 1 day of school.
Wow.
And all the money that's being raised is going to the general fund at the school for the operating budget, not to the athletic department. So from that standpoint, there's some positives out there.
The vast majority of their home games were moved from their smaller gym to the University of Akron, which holds about 6,000. and they'll sell out some of those games. They're attracting bigger crowds. Some of their games, their home games, are even available on pay-per-view here in the state of Ohio.
And that's caught some criticism as you see a 3. Also pricing tickets at $50. And I can understand it. Anybody here has a critique of that, you have to respect their opinions. Those are legitimate, good, solid points.
Ivan Harris, by the way, 11 points and 7 rebounds already for Oak Hill.
He's got that special flair about him, James.
Tied at 25, 2 minutes left in the first half here in Cleveland, and here's James. Jumper just not going. Travis with a putback.
He is forcing his jump shot, Bill.
I don't mind that shot at all. I'm a little concerned about Oak Hill not being able to rebound on the defensive end.
Williams, no. Rebound, Travis.
Now, if you're St. Vincent St. Mary, spread the floor. Give LeBron some room. He'll find you once the double or triple team comes.
He's already got 3 assists. Instead, he settles for the fadeaway jumper and again doesn't get the roll. Travis will shoot a couple, and James visibly frustrated out near midcourt.
Not squaring his body on his jump shot. Hey, I saw you last night with my buddy Brad Nessler, and you were shocked that you were drafted by San Antonio. You didn't know that. How could you not know you weren't drafted by them?
I was a college student. I wanted nothing more in life than to play college basketball.
Great question then for you. Here you are, 2002. And you're dealing with a world of LeBron James. We see the Junction Boys coming up on Saturday.
1954, Bear Bryant took over 100 players into the drought-ridden desert of Junction, Texas, put them through some grueling workouts. Only 35 made it to play for the Aggies. ESPN Original Entertainment presents the Junction Boys Saturday night at 9 following the Heisman Trophy presentation on ESPN.
Hey, Dan, I want to ask my man, Big Bill here. You're in his situation now. They tell you looks like you're a lock for the first pick. Lock, as they're talking now, shoe deals, $25 million. When I got a shoe deal, Donis Butcher of Converse gave me 3 pair of shoes, and I was elated. $25 million. Bill, do you go to the NBA or do you go to UCLA?
I know what I would do.
James, what a find inside.
Nice, what do you do?
I would go to UCLA.
It's easy for you to say now because you don't have that in front of you. $25 million, first pick of the draft.
Depends on what you value in life. I value my family, my friends, education. I dreamed of being a college student athlete. I dreamed of learning from the best. That's what I wanted to do.
I wish that every kid...
My dreams changed when I graduated from UCLA. I wanted to then go to the NBA.
Things have changed, though.
Yeah, it's a different era now.
Our world has changed. Does our world still value education? Does it still value knowledge? Does it still value work?
But you can get your education. What if you were to get hurt, Bill? You got hurt. It cost you a lot of years of your career. The bottom line is you can always get an education. I believe everybody should go to college, but I don't run the system. And the system right now is I think he's an exception. He's an exception to the situation.
He should do what he wants to do.
Right.
It's his life.
I'm going to tell you what does annoy me, though. And what really, really breaks my heart, and that doesn't annoy me, is a kid like a Lenny Cook last year and a D'Angelo Collins. People don't know their names. High school players who went to the NBA draft and were not even drafted, but listened to the wrong people.
Trey Wingo coming up at halftime with a feature on LeBron James, and also Andy Katz will talk some recruiting, and we're getting near halftime, less than a minute away here in Cleveland.
You know, they listen to Omar Cook. I could go on. Marcus Taylor. Kids that weren't ready to be a top 5 pick. But if you're going to be a top 5 or top pick like a Kwame Brown and this kid, and they come from tough times, how do they say no?
It depends on what your motivation in life is, Dick.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And if your only motivation in life is money, then go to the NBA. Some people like different things.
James leaning in, has that shot blocked.
I know one thing, my guy, Mr. Nessler, is ready for broadcasting heaven that he's worked in his career with me and Bill Walton. There's Gloria.
Mom.
He talks about such love for her. They bounced around. She said we were on food stamps when he was young, and then he went to live with the Walker family, who he loves and admires, a youth coach who had him in the 5th grade where he lost, he said, 80-some days of school in the 4th grade, but as the 5th grade on, he learned the value of going to class, and everybody speaks about him being a good student.
Yeah, still spends every Christmas Eve with the Walker family. He's got a tight-knit bunch, and he says, if you weren't with me early, you're not going to be with me now. Because he knows people are trying to hang on.
I like that, Bill. I like that.
Got to get a shot off here. Joyce, Travis, no. And that'll bring the first half to a close. It was all Oak Hill early, but then LeBron James, Bill, as you mentioned, after that dunk, he kind of turned it up a notch.
And as basketball will provide a worldwide stage for LeBron James, he will have to pick a new series of friends, and those friends will determine his ultimate success in life.
And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the second half. A good first half for James. Jay Billis is standing by with the head coach of St. Vincent St. Mary, Drew Joyce. Jay?
Drew, you got off to a little bit of a slow start. It looked like you were relying too much on jump shots. What turned it around for you in the first half?
Well, it's a big game. Sometimes you've got to get the jitters out. I think, once we decided to take the ball into the post, we talked about it. Braun realized they had a small guy on him, couldn't guard him, so we just started throwing it into the post, getting the easy ones. You know how that is. You get some easy ones, the other ones start falling. So as long as we keep defending in the half court, we got to shoot free throws a little bit better. We'll be all right.
How about LeBron? He looked like he relied on his jump shot and settled for it in that first half. Do you talk to him at halftime about not doing that in the second half?
Well, yeah, I want him to get to the rack. If I can get him on the line, get those fouls, because we're not deep, but they even though they got a lot of Division I guys with it, they don't play too many of them.
Well, thanks. Good luck in the second half. Dan, back to you.
All right, Jay, thank you very much. It's a 5-point lead for LeBron James and the Irish here over Oak Hill. Second half coming up soon, but first we're going to send you back to the studio. Trey Wingo with the halftime report coming up next on ESPN2.
All right, Dan, thanks very much. We will get you back out at the start of the second half in just a little bit. Coming up on the halftime report here, lots to talk about, including an in-depth look at who is LeBron James. Tom Friend will bring us that story, plus Andy Katz with his look at the recruiting classes in college. LeBron, he has 13 points, but more importantly, his team's up by 5. Stay with us on ESPN2.
ESPN2's presentation of the Progressive High School Classic is brought to you by MCI 1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two. And Bodman Fragrance Sprays by Body Fantasies.
Trey Wingo here in the ESPN2 basketball studios. More importantly than that score, though, LeBron James, a fairly impressive first half, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. He's got the complete game. LeBron James is not even the leading scorer for the Fighting Irish of St. Vincent St. Mary's, and even with that, this quote from one Western Conference scouting director, quote, LeBron would have been the #1 pick in last year's draft. That should give you an indication of what kind of talent he is. Clearly, LeBron James has been waiting to explode on the NBA scene for over 16 months now. But exactly who is he? And what can we tell you about LeBron James? Tom Friend with that story.
It's just a dunk on amateur video. Him blowing a rim to smithereens. But it only lengthens the legend of LeBron James.
I'll be amazed by some of the things that I do on the court sometimes.
Goes LeBron all the way!
To be able to make some kind of shots that, a lot of people can't make, and to make passes a lot of people can't make, but I'll let my coaches and my friends come up to me and say, LeBron, what's going on with all this? Why are we getting so much exposure?
Everyone wants to get their hands on him. Nike, Adidas, the Cleveland Cavaliers, his high school teachers. But some things about James need clearing up. First being talk that his head is bloated.
Before I was in the stable house that I'm in now, I had moved at least 7 times in a year. And when I was living where you was talking about, Elizabeth Park, down in the projects, those hard times, you see everything from crackheads, to drug dealers, to gunshots every night, to police sirens. And I think it just made me stronger.
Another claim is that he's another of the Michael Jordan youth. That he's in love with just the dunk and the jump shot.
He wants to make the great pass as much as he wants to dunk the ball.
I like to share the wealth, I just don't like getting all this for myself. It's all about the team.
He's the first one to tell you he's never won a game by himself.
I know every night I can go out there and score 50. I can easily be a ball hog, shoot all I want, because, I got the willpower to not do that, because I want to see my team be excited too. And last year in the playoffs, at halftime, I had 5 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. And a guy had asked me, it was a pretty bad halftime, isn't it? I said, how? I'm sharing the ball, I'm getting rebounds to the point guard, and at halftime we was winning by 35. You know, it's not bad at all. I'm loving it.
Not that he doesn't have a lot of Jordan in him. In practice, he's so competitive that everyone, including his coach, is fair game.
How was that not a part of the play?
No. She was right here. Ball was right here. We're going to spread the play. Go.
Even if you don't, you'll set it up.
But when these practices are over, it's him, not his coach or his teammates, who's on the cover of magazines. It's him at 17 who has to deal with his wristbands being sold on eBay and his high school games being televised nationally, with Dick Vitale announcing.
My concern now is that we have put him on such a high pedestal that he can't live up to it. Even if he's successful, there's going to be those who say, well, he didn't do this. Well, he didn't do that. You know, and I feel for him for that because, you know, that's not fair. He's only 17.
Everyone, when they was younger, wanted to fly like Jordan, wanted to dish no-look passes like Magic, wanted to jump out of the gym like Julius, and wanted to shoot like Bird. You know, it's great to be compared to some of the greats.
To LeBron for a jam!
And in the first half, you saw some of those passes and jump shots. Don't forget LeBron, part of our ESPN The Magazine show next, coming up right after the game, 9:30 on ESPN2. Welcome back to our ESPN2 basketball studios, everybody. LeBron James has not said definitively he won't be going to college, but all major college coaches have stopped recruiting him. They expect him to be the #1 pick in the NBA draft. So with that in mind, our own Andy Katz joins us from the game tonight. Andy, who are the top classes coming into 2003 that will be going to college?
Well, first of all, you have to look not only at talent, but also need. And the top 3 classes, and these are debatable, but right now we're looking at Arizona, Cincinnati, and Arkansas. With Arizona, they've got a great point guard, Mustafa Shakur. He can replace Jason Gardner, and a great forward in N.D. Ebby. He can certainly replace Luke Walton. For Cincinnati, you've got Robert Whaley, a highly touted junior college player who could go to the NBA draft. Add him with Nick Williams, a scoring guard, and James White, a transfer from Florida. And down at Arkansas, Stan Heath has done a phenomenal job bringing in Julius Lamptey, a big center who originally signed with Georgia, Alu Famutimi, a scoring guard from Michigan, and 2 local products, Ronnie Brewer and Vincent Hunter, to add some wing and some scoring up front.
All right, Andy, thanks very much. We appreciate it, and we look forward to your reports throughout this college basketball season to who's going to have the best class coming up in 2003. Stay with us. Second half coming up with Dan Shulman, Bill Walton, Dick Vitale, LeBron James getting everybody involved. St. Vincent St. Mary's leads by 5.
Heading to the second half, St. Vincent St. Mary led by LeBron James with a 5-point lead on the #1 team in the country, the Oak Hill Academy Warriors, out of Mouth of Wilson, Virginia. Some beautiful aerial shots tonight, courtesy of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. With us is the blimp Spirit of Goodyear, continuing a 77-year tradition as the aerial ambassador and icon of the 104-year-old company. Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale, Bill Walton, Jay Billis is with us as well. Well, guys, very briefly, because we're going to get to action here, how'd you think James did in the first half?
Well, I thought his passing skills were absolutely brilliant. I thought that his shot selection certainly was suspect, but you could see greatness all over him, Bill.
I was extremely impressed with every part of his game, with the exception of the start. And I'm reminded of the time John Wooden went to see Jamal Wilkes play high school basketball. Jamal stunk it up and couldn't do a thing. John Wooden said, no way I'm recruiting this guy. Denny Crum, then the assistant, said, Coach, give him one more chance. LeBron James certainly delivered after the first 4 or 5 minutes of this tilt.
Give him one more shot. I mean, they gave him one shot. He was an NBA first round in the same year you were #1 in '74.
Rookie of the year. It's amazing how those championships just tended to follow Jamal around.
Oak Hill in black and St. Vincent St. Mary in gold. James now with the ball, wears number 23. He was the high scorer in the game in the first half, but again, a lot of help from Romeo Travis with 9 points and 8 rebounds. Ivan Harris had 11 and 7 to lead Oak Hill. James with a rebound and a putback.
Can't handle him on the offensive boards. He's so quick to the interior, Bill.
What I'm liking here is we're seeing a man playing amongst boys, but the man is not a giant man. He's not an overly tall player like a Shaq or a Yao Ming.
He's 6'8", about 235, 240 pounds. I mean, who knows what he projects out to in the NBA? Is he a 1, a 2, a 3, or is he just a whatever he wants to be?
He's just a player, man. He can play anywhere on the floor. I was talking at halftime with Jim O'Brien. He said, let me tell you, Dick, he said, this kid is for real. He said, I've seen him perform, and we've seen that out here. That was a great pass before by Marcus Williams going out to UConn. Look at this right here, beating him one-on-one.
The strength of the lower legs, the explosiveness. Rarely do you find the complete physical package in someone who's not 18.
I'll tell you
That's what you forget. He's only 17 years old.
He was described to me by someone, I'll let him remain anonymous. He said he has the instincts of Magic on the perimeter and the explosiveness of Michael Jordan. Now that is one heck of a... He said, I'm not saying he's Michael and I'm not saying he's Magic, but that is what he possesses. Would you agree with that, Bill?
I'm seeing a lot of very positive things. And to even be having the discussion
shows
a statement.
Great. Well, the fact that we're here. The fact that we're here.
Absolutely.
We wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be on TV here if this kid wasn't for real.
But also, we wouldn't be here without Oak Hill.
Exactly.
Yes. But it is hard to find somebody who says they've seen a better high school player in the last 10 or 15 years. Now, how that projects out is anybody's guess.
Coach Wooden was talking about Fuzzy Vanderveer from the 19-teens. But that's more than 10 or 15 years.
Hey, you know who was number 2 behind you in the draft in 74? I bet you don't remember. Who was number 2 behind you in the draft in 74? A
David
sad
Thompson.
story. Nope, a sad story.
Marvin Barnes.
Marvin Barnes. Really sad because he was so good as you look at the halftime stats right here.
Well, neither team shooting the ball particularly well. But again, this is high school basketball.
Yep. Maybe the best team in the country in Oak Hill, at least it has been traditionally in the last few years, against one of the best teams, probably the best team in the state of Ohio. They've won 2 of the last 3 state titles, so they're certainly up there among the great teams in Ohio. Marcus Williams, no. Harris very active on the offensive glass, but he has it stripped by Travis.
One of the things that I like about LeBron James is that he's given his teammates confidence. The greatest skill of the top players is they make their teammates better.
Exactly, and that's what he possesses, that rare talent.
And when you lift their spirits, when you lift their confidence level, you just dominate at the basket area.
And you know what he did? You just said it right there. He went from early in the game trying to show he can shoot the perimeter shot. His team was in trouble, and he said, you know where I'm going? I'm going to the interior, and I am going to dominate around the basket, and that's what he's doing. That shows you good basketball IQ.
Movement without the basketball, something he wasn't doing early in the game. He's really come alive.
Well, there are a lot of NBA guys, Bill. You do a lot of games there. I think one of the lost arts is motion without the basketball.
10-point lead now and make it 8. As that bucket will count.
Besides the cultural changes, which we've talked about so much tonight, the game today is played off the dribble. The guy who has the ball, he's looking for his own play, while the guys who don't have it, they're standing around waiting for the ball to come their way.
They're all Kodak man. They want to snap pictures. They want to take pictures.
Dion Dakins at the line, completes the 3-point play.
Dick, you mentioned your conversation with Jim O'Brien at Ohio State. In my research, one of the names that kept coming up was Jerry Lucas as a high school player here in Ohio.
Special.
Such a phenomenal player.
Bobby Knight spoke so highly of him. When you talk about great players, Bobby Knight always mentions the name Jerry Lucas.
Middleton High School here in Ohio. When he got to Ohio State, he did hurt his knee. He still was a phenomenal all-time NBA player, but that guy was really, really good.
Yeah, he was absolutely talented. Another great one out of the Cleveland area. Works in television. A guy I have great respect for, Clark Kellogg. An unbelievable high school player at St. Joe's in Cleveland.
And concur there, as well as Jimmy Jackson from here in the state of Ohio.
Joyce has it knocked away. Oak Hill scored the last 5 to get back within 5. Williams wanted the lob, then just threw it up there in desperation, and Dakins gets the bucket.
I think it was a lob. just a bad pass that happened to hit the rim.
Dakins going to be a good player. They tell me that Davidson's one of the schools after him, that he's an outstanding student as well.
Well, every year it seems they put 4 or 5 guys into Division I basketball.
Well, you know, a lot of kids go there for the discipline, for the academics.
Only 150 students at Oak Hill. I was blown away with that.
James couldn't thread the needle on that pass. Here's Reynolds for three, and it's a 10-0 run to tie the game.
He can shoot it. I mean, they're a talented basketball team. You're not #1 in USA Today and not be talented.
Now the competitive response from LeBron James as Coach Drew Joyce has to talk things over right now. His momentum significantly swinging back to Oak Hill.
James with a 19, including 6 already in this quarter, but it's Oak Hill on a 10-0 run and the #1 team in the country. Doesn't want to go away. They have tied up this game. Isaiah Swan getting it done here for the Warriors. Tied at 37 midway through the third quarter here in Cleveland. Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Bill Walton, Jay Billis with you. Well, over the years, once a year, ESPN has its next issue. A look at the guy who's really going to change the face of the sport he or she plays in the coming year. And this year, it is none other than LeBron James, who's on the cover of ESPN, the magazine. Next on your newsstands now and on ESPN2. Next is next after our game tonight as they look at LeBron James and many of the other great young stars in many different sports who could really shape their sport over the years to come.
Well, you know, people talk about hype. It's been a runaway freight train for 2 years now. I mean, general managers were watching him play as a sophomore in high school. Led his high school to the state championship as a freshman, sophomore, got beat as a junior.
That's beautiful.
He's going in deep, and they can't handle him in deep, Bill. Once he gets the ball in that deep, he's automatic as his mom is cheering. Gloria.
This is what great players do. They take what they want.
They go to their strengths.
At the beginning of the game, he was sitting and letting the game come to him.
Exactly.
Now he's just taking over.
Well, you go to your strength.
But I used to play with Larry Bird. Larry would just get exactly what he wanted, position-wise, shot-wise, because his discipline, because his thought process. And when we saw that procession of magazine covers, we saw Yao Ming flash up there. We're starting to see that right now.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I give you credit on that. I heard you in a game when everybody was on the kid early, said he wasn't ready, and I remember you telling Brad Nessler, I'm telling you, be patient. This guy's going to be special.
LeBron James now at 23.
Say it. Don't nod your head. Say it.
Calm down, Dick. And on the phone.
Where? I see.
4 rows up behind the yellow shirts.
Led by LeBron James, who's taken charge on the bench as well. James now has 23 points, 11 already in just over 4 minutes in this quarter. And as Dick was saying, James, who has struggled with his outside shot, now starting to go inside. And he's just too big and too strong, Bill, for the rest of these kids.
He's come alive here. And he's found a way to get into the open court transition here. His teammates have picked up a little bit, too. That's given him some opportunities. But you're seeing a man who's got finishing capabilities as you rarely see this polished a level at just such a young man. And we're talking about umbilical incredible here.
Wow, don't use words like that. Now, you went to UCLA. I can't handle more than one syllable. Now, come on.
Now, let's assume he's going to the NBA, because that's the assumption that I think everybody...
I don't even say I got a better chance of growing here.
Okay.
I got a better...
All right, so he's going to the NBA.
Is he eligible to go to college?
Well,
yeah, he does have the grades.
He does.
Yes. I did research on that, and he's now in his choice as his safety, and it's only his safety. He's not even making visits right now. The coach told me Ohio State, Florida, Duke, North Carolina, and Louisville. And Louisville are the 5.
But
yes.
The family is reported. There's a guy who'd love to have him, Jim O'Brien. But,
wow.
but the family reportedly is talking to agents and not schools at this point. Let's bring Jay Billis in. Jay, let's assume that he goes to the NBA. Is he automatically going to be the first choice in the draft?
I think he will be the first choice, Dan. There's a young man that is playing overseas in Yugoslavia right now, an 18-year-old left-hander named Darko Milicic. It is possible he could be the first pick, but I doubt it. I think that LeBron James is the clear favorite to be the #1 pick in the draft, but it just shows you how much of a factor European players have become.
I'll tell you something else, Jay. Years and years ago, before you were born, there was something called the territorial draft choice, and they would love to have that here in Cleveland. All the talk shows are talking about what are the chances of them keeping LeBron right here with the Cavs.
Well, they've got a lot of ping pong balls.
Yeah, 419's a good start.
No team in the last 12 years with the worst record in the NBA has won the draft lottery.
Wow.
The last player was Derek Coleman with New Jersey in 1990.
That's a good stat.
That is good. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Got a good game here, too. A one-point game. Ivan Harris makes it a one-point game, but in Oak Hill's favor.
Well, nice job by Harris posting it inside. Very well coached the team out of Oak Hill. Spoke to Steve Smith's wife, Lisa, who works there in the athletic office and administrative office, and she told me about the fact that financial aid is available for all students that they have there, and kids need it. It's very expensive going there. It's only about $13,000 a year.
And as Bill mentioned, enrollment's only 150, and they've got a JV basketball team as well, a tennis team. I mean, this is not your normal high school. And a lot of these kids, almost all of these kids for Oak Hill, they only come here for their last year of high school to prep for the college ranks.
But none of them are fifth-year players. These are only four-year players.
9 to 12, right. It's not a 5-year deal. 9 to 12.
Williams, nice find to Reynolds. He's one of their best shooters. That doesn't get the bounce.
Oak Hill is a team that makes 17 threes a game. They're just not finding the range from behind the arc.
Nearly 50 years ago, Bear Bryant put 115 football players through the struggle of a lifetime, and the 35 young men who made the grade quickly formed a bond that became second to none. Their story is chronicled in The Junction Boys, presented by Jack Daniels Original Hard Cola, Saturday at 9 on ESPN, immediately following the Heisman Trophy presentation. Joyce is in what maybe was a pass to James. I'm not sure, but
it looked like a shot put.
Yeah.
I tell you, I would go to James almost every possession down the floor in this sequence.
Boy, they're getting physical. Now Weems, the smallest guy on the floor, loses it. This is Sheon Cotton inside at 6'4", 285, a high school All-American in football. That's right.
He's a terrific football prospect. Everybody recruiting, everybody wants him. Outstanding. You know, this school has produced a lot of athletes. I'm going to tell you something else about the school that really impressed me. 98% of all the youngsters last year that were seniors at St. Vincent, St. Mary's went on to college. So that means LeBron James, they told me, he's taking nothing but a college prep curriculum.
They've got 19,000 living alumni from St. Vincent, St. Mary across the country. Wherever the team goes, they have big reunions. When they go to Pauley Pavilion on January 4th to play Mater Dei, they're going to have a big reunion there of 200 St. Vincent, St. Mary alumni out there in Los Angeles.
You know, Mater Dei was the only school last year to beat Oak Hill. They lost. Carmelo Anthony said, we had a bad game. He said, but they were really good. Mater Dei's got a great program.
Yeah, DJ Strawberry, Wesley Washington, some real talented players
yes,
there.
Sir. That name familiar. Strawberry going out to Maryland, the son of Darryl Strawberry. There's a guy that made some bad mistakes in life, didn't listen to the right people.
Look at the snatch. Look at the pass.
Great hands.
This
Great
guy's
hands.
fun to watch.
Great hands.
Boy, if you're Travis and Joyce and the rest of these guys, you wish you could go with James because he gives you the best passes that you'll ever get.
I think Bill would like to play with him. I'm letting Bill right here. You'd like to go in that post and play with him.
Look at the way LeBron James floats over the court. Look at the way he keeps his arms up. He snatches that look.
That's big time.
His eyes never drop to
Look
the
at his
floor.
vision. Great vision all the time. Great vision.
The ball's an extension of his mind.
Oh, he knew he had that one too.
Uh-oh, then it's chest pumping time. He knows he's good. He's got it. I'll tell you right now, my friends, he's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. There's no doubt about him being legit. I only pray, and I pray, as I told him today, I said, please surround yourself with people that care.
26 points now for LeBron James as he finally gets a three ball to go down.
The only thing that you can't really predict
what happens when you get the money
is whether he'll stay healthy and whether he'll continue the work ethic that he's shown to this point.
Yeah, that's the one thing that drives the great ones, like you said, Magic and Michael and Larry Bird, yourself, is the desire to be better tomorrow than what you were yesterday.
And that's why it can't really be about the money. It has to be about that drive, which is what Kobe Bryant had. His drive to be the best that there is.
And the money ultimately comes with the success.
Final possession of the quarter going for St. Vincent, St. Mary, and the ball in the hands of James. He's inside, he's outside, he's rebounding, he's scoring. He's taken over the game here in the third quarter.
I bet his high school level is a lot different than the level I've seen over the years.
Great tip.
Great tip.
I think it was Willie McGee getting the tip. Travis in there as well. Let's give it to Travis as St. Vincent, St. Mary's goes to the break, up 7. With just 1 quarter to go, standing between them and a win over the #1 ranked team in the country.
I'll tell you, a kid like Travis is a very good active player. He's going to Akron as we watch him right now with the offensive tip. There he is, and they jump with joy. St. Vincent, St. Mary's, the Fighting Irish.
Head coach Drew Joyce 8 minutes away from a win over Oak Hill, but that's an eternity with these two teams going at it. 50-43. We asked Coach Joyce about LeBron James and what concerns he might have as James moves forward.
On the court, I have no concerns at all about whether he'll be able to handle it. The off-the-court things are what concern me the most. I'm concerned about, the NBA lifestyle. Will it chew him up?
Well, there have been 21 players who have gone directly from high school to the NBA. And as you can see, the floodgates really opened after Kevin Garnett went in 1995. Some guys like Garnett and Kobe and Tracy McGrady have become superstars, and some guys, to be honest, have just flamed out and may already be out of the league.
Well, you talk about youngsters there that have made it and those that haven't. We talked about earlier tonight Lenny Cook and D'Angelo Collins, kids that put their names in the draft and were not even drafted. I couldn't agree more, Bill, with what his coach said. The concerns of lifestyle in the big leagues, the travel, the kind of people that are going to be around, hotel lobbies, etc. As we said, he's going to need a great support staff like Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant have that have helped them immensely.
He's going to have to search out the great teachers. But that's why I enjoyed going to college so much. That's why I enjoy college basketball so much, is you have such fantastic teachers like a John Wooden, like a Mike Krzyzewski, a Dean Smith, a Roy Williams, a Lee Olson.
All those guys.
It's an endless list there.
We want to wish the best to John Chaney. I wish the rules were like in your era, where kids had to go to school to enjoy that moment, to enjoy life in college. But unfortunately, it's just not there until we can get the NBA Players Union to sit down with the NCAA and the Commissioner's Office and make it become a reality where David Stern promoted the 20-year age limit. What are your feelings about that?
I don't know if the Players Association is interested in doing that, although I think it would be in their best interest.
Yeah, because a lot of guys right now are losing jobs. The young kids sitting on the bench that can't play. So I don't know why guys in their 30s aren't upset about that. Plus, it would help these kids. In baseball, it works beautifully. Once you enter college, you cannot be drafted until after your 3rd year.
But then would that make a lot of kids not come to college in the first place if you put that restriction in?
College is not for everybody.
Exactly. That's another true statement.
James with certainly the ability to make it look like he can go to the next level and maybe skip college, go right to the NBA. He's got 29.
There is no doubt he can play. I'm going to tell you right now, you put him on the floor. You're watching what DeJuan Wagner's doing now, getting 33 after 1 year at Memphis. This kid can step in and play in the NBA. That's not the question. The question is, as the coach said, and we have addressed, how do you handle all the other factors? He has stepped it up, man.
Yeah, he's got the hop going now. The air ball to 3.
He's waving him off.
Yeah. Oh, boy, a hard foul underneath the basket by Jarvell Scott on James.
That's got to bounce up. Just got to bounce right back up and play.
Look at the way he stands.
Mom's not too happy with that foul.
This is a man already.
It's hard to believe he's 17. It's hard to believe when you watch him perform. He's a 17-year-old kid. What a great story on him. In the New York Times by Mike Wise, he did a phenomenal story called Man-Child Approaches the Promised Land. And great story about, how they hype started? Chris Dennis, a friend of his, went to a room over in Indianapolis with a video and showed it to people, and they went out and started telling everybody about him.
Led by LeBron James with 29 points, 16 of them here in the second half. It's a 13-point lead for St. Vincent, St. Mary. Be aware about your equipment when LeBron James is around. This is a scrimmage last month. A non-collapsible rim collapsed when James went up and got it. How about another alum from this school we didn't mention? Jerome Lane, a rim breaker of his own. Remember that, John?
Pittsburgh, he was tremendous rebounder. Lane was a terrific rebounder.
Coming up next here on ESPN2, it's ESPN the Magazine. Next, who's the next Jordan? Tiger? Will there be one? Find out as some of the top young athletes in their sports are profiled. Coming up next year on ESPN2, and of course LeBron James will be a major part of that show.
When we talk about next, we talk about changing the game. We know the sneaker wars that are coming out with the new equipment. Spalding has come out with a new ball just happening for this game, and there's Kobe Bryant and Paul Pierce are out there involved with it. So guys like this change the way we think about how the game of basketball is played. I came here with high expectations.
He's better than what I thought, Bill.
He is much better than what I thought.
He's better than what I thought. He really is. Better than advertised.
I watched a lot of film coming here, but film doesn't do this guy justice.
I agree with you. I couldn't agree more. The kid's gracefulness, agility, ability. He really hit the nation when he was at the ABC basketball camp, Sonny Vaccara's camp in New Jersey in the summer of 2001. And after he left there, everybody was just raving and raving about his talent.
Well, he's got 30, and if his jump shot was on, he'd have 40 by now, because everything else has gone very well for him. Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Bill Walton, and Jay Billis with you here at the Convocation Center in Cleveland. This is the Progressive High School Classic featuring St. Vincent St. Mary of Akron, Ohio, led by LeBron James, the consensus best high school player, not only this year, but in many, many years, perhaps, taking on the #1 team in the country, according to the USA Today Super 25 rankings, the Oak Hill Academy Warriors. And right now, St. Vincent St. Mary, which was down 7 in the first quarter, is up by 14.
I think it's difficult to get ratings. I know we hear about these champions. You didn't play all over when you were a high school kid.
Only played in California. Back when they had, in those days, the old Diaper Dan Classic in Pittsburgh.
Dapper Dan, yeah.
Dapper Dan. I was not allowed to play.
Oh, really?
I was invited, and the California Federation said, no, you're not allowed to play. But then after I graduated, I went on to play for the U.S. national team in the World Championships in Yugoslavia.
Well, Oak Hill, I think they play in 8 states this year, and their team, their 10 kids on their team come from 6 different states. They recruit better than a lot of college programs do. It's a national program.
Well, you know, a lot of players recruit them as well to improve their academics, to play against better competition.
Travis with 2 more. You know, he's got 15 points and 11 rebounds tonight.
You know, going to Akron, and Coach Dambrot, the assistant there, was the former head coach here. You know, Drew Joyce, by the way, is a consumer sales. He's in consumer sales. He just doesn't devote his life just to coaching.
Well, that's where he got his start in business. This is only his 4th year coaching here at St. Vincent St. Mary's. He was in consumer sales. He was a business administration major in college at Ohio University, and went to work for what is now ConAgra.
Hey, I'll tell you this also. Guy said hello to you. You weren't here this afternoon looking for you. Rolly Massimino. It was so great to see Rolly. He took Jay Billis and I on a tour. Beautiful facilities. We got a chance to say hello to his kids. They were having a birthday cake, and he's still so enthusiastic. He said, say hello to Bill Walton.
Talk about changing basketball. He did that with that Villanova team that upset Georgetown. What a perfect day that was.
Yeah, he pitched a perfect game, a la Don Larson.
Well, the Irish have really stepped up the D here, although the foul is called. It's an 11-0 run now for St. Vincent St. Mary. There's thousands of people standing up saying that was a travel.
Talk about changing the game and how evolution happens. In talking to Pete Newell about this game today.
The best mind maybe ever. One of the great minds of ever.
Pete Newell was the one who steered me toward Jerry Lucas, but he also steered me toward Hank Lucetti, who revolutionized the game from the old 2-handed set shot to the 1-handed jump shot there. And he said Hank Lucetti playing high school basketball in California was an absolute phenom.
You're going back to an era even before my era. I mean, Hank Lucetti. One thing I like, he used to eat a lot of ravioli.
James to Travis.
Travis. Great play. Peter Newell, you talk about big man moves. He is certainly the best ever in that area.
But it's not just big men. He coaches all players. And that's what I love about LeBron James. When I see him, I see a little man, a big man, a perimeter player, a post player, a defender, a rebounder. We need more complete players in the game of basketball.
Yeah, he seems to be out of that mold of the Garnetts, the Kobe Bryants, all the great Tracy McGrady. He has that kind of a great ball movement. Great ball movement.
Weems knocks down the jumper.
And Weems with that little jumper.
Now foul at the other end and no basket. Foul on the floor. But look at this lead now for St. Vincent St. Mary, up to 18 points.
Up to 18, and it's because of the presence of James on the floor makes other people get open for good looks and good shots.
30 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists for LeBron James. He took over as a scorer in the third quarter. Now he's content to set up his buddy, Romeo Travis, for the easy deuce.
There's the diagonal pass. Romeo with the score.
ESPN2's presentation of the Progressive High School Classic is brought to you by Progressive Auto Insurance. Progressive, not what you'd expect from an insurance company.
Well, LeBron James has taken over the game here in the second half. We'll see what Phil Mickelson and David Toms can do when they team up on Saturday to represent the USA against the rest of the world. 23 pairs from other nations at the World Golf Championships. It's the EMC World Cup. ABC's coverage begins Saturday at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific time.
When you spend your life around the NBA players, you get numb to how big they are and how powerful and how gifted they are. Last night with David Robinson, Michael Finley, just how perfect their bodies are. And then you go to a college game and you're stunned. You say, gosh, these guys, they're just not nearly as big or as physically talented. You come to a high school game and you say, well, it's a whole different world. Oh. But then coming here watching this guy today, LeBron James, he fits right in at 17 years old with the guys I live with on a daily basis at the NBA level.
Well, you know, Bill, somebody asked me earlier, a reporter, about what game do I like better, the college, the NBA. And I said, let me tell you, the high school, you got the spirit, the rah-rah. College, you got the pageantry, the unbelievable pride of playing for that jersey. And the NBA, to me, the greatest athletes in all of sport, when you talk about agility, mobility, and strength and body and the things they can achieve. And I love it all. I love basketball.
But they're all different sports.
Exactly.
And to try to say that they're the same game is a huge misnomer.
Well, you've had quite a week to the Arizona-San Diego State game. The
dream come true.
The Walton family reunion, and we hope Luke's ankle's okay and he's going to be back soon.
Let me say this. I watched you in that interview with your son. I watched you in an interview with your son after the game, Luke Walton, and I was touched when you looked at your son and you said to your son, you said, son, I'm proud to be your dad. And I will say this about this guy here, and I said it when I introduced him to the kids. I've been around his sons, and the greatest gift that you can have as a father is that your sons have character and really do that which is right. And my friend, you should be commended for the way you've raised your sons.
Have you seen the doctor lately? You are a great dad yourself, Dick, and you know that. The two daughters there, how are they doing?
They're doing fine. My daughter's watching right now with my two grandsons, Connor and
Two
Shay.
grandsons?
Yeah, twins. Had twins.
I'm getting old. I remember when.
And my other girl got a beautiful little girl, Sydney. So I got 3 now. I'm in the last chapter of my life, man.
Oh, you're
I
just
want to make it the
started.
best.
No shot clock, remember, in the high school game, so they're going to work it around with a nice big lead, and this Cleveland crowd loves every moment of it. Yep.
They smell that win over #1.
Oak Hill's only lost 3 times in the last 4 years.
Wow. And they play against everybody and anybody.
Well, they're going down to the Academy National Invitational Tournament in Houston, Texas, put on by Hal Pastner. That they're going to have the #2 ranked team in the country, Rainier Beach, the #3 ranked team, St. Patrick in New Jersey, the #6 ranked team, R.J. Reynolds. So they got their work cut out for them.
I don't know how they come up with these rankings, so that bothers me. I don't know how they come up with these ratings and these rankings, but I'll tell you, they got a date December 28th. They have, with Brookhaven, right from Columbus, Division I, some say the best Division I team, which is the biggest group, and they're Division II. And they got a kid named Andrew Lavender going out to Oklahoma who can flat out play. Look at him, standing ovation.
Standing ovation now for St. Vincent St. Mary's. A commanding win and a very impressive performance, especially in the second half against Oak Hill.
All they got to do is get it inside to James, and he'll score anytime he wants here now. He's got such a size advantage.
Oak Hill's only got 2 points in the fourth quarter.
Give it to LeBron. The crowd is hungry.
Yeah.
Give it to LeBron. Spread the floor. Let him go to the hoop. The game is over.
It's academic now. I'll tell you, we were curious. The curiosity really had me here with these stories yesterday on a front page story in USA Today.
Unbelievable.
Really, he has lived up to all the billing.
Which is so difficult. Our infusion player of the game, LeBron James, that was not a hard pick. He got my vote.
Think of the numbers he would have had the jump shot been falling in the first quarter, but once he decided to go to the basket, he just took over the game.
I think some people sometimes get away from their strengths. They try to prove to everyone that they can shoot from the perimeter. Bottom line is he can get to the basket when he wants, especially on a high school level.
But at the NBA level, he's, and I think you guys were talking about before, the jump shot's got to become a weapon for him.
He'll be able to get
Yes, he will. and he's going to be playing with better people.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing with better people, so people can't give him that kind of attention that he gets on a high school level.
But what you have to realize is that the better you get, and he's already at the top, the better you get, the more you get knocked down.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to learn to protect himself because there's big, strong, mean, nasty guys playing for the ultimate prize out there, and they're going to look at him and say, hey, what about me?
He's doing what you asked him to do. Getting the ball. He's going to do the, hey, the one said, give him the ball. Gave him the rock, baby. He's going to do his thing.
Get to the hoop.
Hey, wait a
Why
minute.
stall it out at the 20-point game? Put a show on.
How come you're not on a speed dial with him on his phone? He's got Magic. He's got Michael. He's got Shaq. Yeah. He's got Maurice Claret, the great running back. He doesn't have you on there, Bill.
I'm just happy to be here. I asked to be on this game. I wanted to come and see, and I have been.
It's been worth the trip up from Texas.
Absolutely.
Well, I've enjoyed working with you, big fella, and Dan. He and I, there. It's been a lot of fun. We've been going at it here since 5 o'clock with interviews, fun, and it's been a riot. I'll tell you this, you're always one of my favorites, big fella, as a player, because you were unselfish and you were a winner. I'll never forget 72, 73, and when you went for 21 for 22 against Memphis. How did you miss that one shot?
That's what Coach Wooden always wants to know. When you gave the speech to the team before the game, I thought I was in church.
Now they're going to clear the bench, and James is going to come out of the game along with the rest of the starters with 9 seconds to go. What a performance tonight, not just by James. The supporting cast also instrumental in a 20-point win over one of the best programs in the country.
I'll tell you, they came out and they live off Mr. James. Though once he made that dunk, when he made that dunk, it created momentum for them.
By the way, our thanks to some of the aerial shots you saw earlier tonight. That coverage, courtesy of Goodyear and its fleet of airships, which reminds you to take all of life's journeys on the wings of Goodyear. What a journey LeBron James is about to embark on. Everybody's assumption he's going to go into the NBA. Everybody assumes he'll be the #1 pick. And after that, that's when the story really begins to follow him over the court. Look at all the GMs and scouts sitting behind us here. They're here to see one guy and one guy only.
But this is his senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
You're right.
He will never have that chance again.
In a way, it's going to be sad that he will not enjoy the beauty of a college campus for 4 years. But in his case, he's the exception, Bill. You just can't take a risk for an injury with the kind of financial dollars he's going to have in front of him. I just think the bottom line is, if he wants to go to school, he can go to school, because I agree with you. There is no substitute for knowledge. Knowledge gives you power.
It's his life. Let him make the choice. Don't let somebody else who's looking to score off of him make that choice for him.
And all those leeches, leave the kid alone. All those that want to sell T-shirts and bobblehead dolls and make money off them, let him try to enjoy his senior year as much. He's got enough heat and pressure.
31 points, standing by with Jay Billis. Jay?
LeBron, with all the hype going into this game, playing against the #1 team on national television, did you feel a lot of pressure coming into this?
Well, it's a different game, a different atmosphere today. And today, we're playing the #1 team in the country. And I don't think it was no pressure for our team. I think it was more pressure for the fans, to come in here. We lost the last 2 years, and we just wanted to come here and get a victory.
The cover of USA Today, the cover of ESPN magazine last year on Sports Illustrated's cover. What do you think? Is this too much, or is it too much pressure for you?
Well, I think it's no pressure for me. I think if I come out and play my game and get my team involved in the game, you know, it's a lot of notoriety for me and my teammates, but I just go out, play my game every night and give it our all. And if we give it 110% like we did tonight, no, it's no pressure for us.
Your performance, you came out, it looked like you started slowly, relied a little bit too much on the jump shot. How did you calm yourself down?
Well, you know, at halftime, our team was telling me I need to go inside a little bit more because the player that was guarding me had 3 fouls at halftime. So I said, you know, anything it takes to win for our teammates. They told me to get inside, and I did that for our team, and we came out with a victory.
What's next for you? What do you have to improve upon when you want to take your game to the next level?
Well, you know, it's all about just getting better every day. You know, of course, you know, defensive-wise and getting your jump shot better to perfection. But it's just getting better every day for our team and for myself.
All right, LeBron James with Jay Billis. Well, we saw on the court. How about the interview skills? He seems to have his head screwed on pretty straight, huh?
He's got charisma that goes with it, and that leads to marketability. And if he smiles and he takes that game like Magic and Jordan, the cash register is going to go ding-a-ling-ding because he will have unbelievable in terms of requests with all the endorsements, etc. What a future he has.
But the way he played for fun tonight, the joy, the hope, the optimism that you saw, what poise, what composure, what confidence, what competitive greatness. This guy's got it.
What a night it was for LeBron James. We hope you enjoyed it. 31 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and a win, 20-point win. Wow. Over the #1 ranked team in the country, the Oak Hill Academy Warriors, 65-45 for St. Vincent, St. Mary. ESPN the Magazine's Next is coming up next year on ESPN2. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Dick Vitale, Bill Walton, Jay Billis, and our entire crew, thanks for watching, and so long from Cleveland.